Now I'm going to show you an example of an annuity. An annuity is an everyday life experience where we pay either into an insurance policy or we pay off debts, but it's done the same amount as paid every month. So let's say, for example, this is an annuity that this person pays at the end of every month. And it's crucial that it is at the end because it is different if it is at the beginning. So a person pays 1,000 Rand at the end of every month for 10 years. So in other words, it's 1,000 Rand plus minus, it's a payment. They're asking you what's the future value, so I'm going to initialize the present value. Now, 10 years means the number of periods is 10 times 12, which is 120. So you say 120 N, because N is the number of periods. Supposing the interest rate is 9%, so I say 9 IYR, and it's compounded 12 times. So I say 12 times per year. And then I call up my future value, 193,000. Now, supposing that payment was done at the beginning of every month, then all I need to do is press the down arrow and press begin N. This is now an annuity due because it's done at the beginning of the period. So everything else holds, but I just call up now my future value, which is now 194,000, which is different. So there are two annuities. One is at the beginning of the period and the other is at the end of the period. And it must be stipulated. They will say 1,000 Rand at the end of every month or 1,000 Rand at the beginning of every month. I'm going to do an example now involving present value. Future value is normally works on an investment account where money matures or an insurance policy that matures. Present value works on debt. You incur the debt now and you worry about paying afterwards. So let me clear. I'm going to say down arrow clear. So it's a person paying off a loan. So let's just say, for example, the loan is 120,000. So it's 120,000. That is my present value. I've got to initialize my future value. So supposing this person is paying it over 10 years, so I say 120 N, because 10 times 12 is 120. Supposing the interest rate is 5 interest, and it's compounded monthly, 12 times per month, right? And then I call up my payment. My payment is 1,267.50. It normally comes out negative. All you need to do is just take away the negative sign, right? So this is a relationship of your payment given the present value, right? Now, this was the payment at the beginning of every month. Supposing you want to know what it is at the end of the month, all I need to do is take away begin N. Begin N, and then I call up my payment, which is 1,272, and I take away the negative sign. Right? So annuities is the you could say the most vast section, but one tool that they will always use intermittently throughout is interest rate conversion. That is another section because it infuses itself in compound interest and also annuities. So I'm going to show you how to convert from one interest rate to another. That's the one section that runs throughout the course. So I'm first going to clear, down arrow clear, and supposing I have an interest rate of 10% compounded monthly, and I want to know what's the equivalent interest rate compounded quarterly. So it's again a case of declaring. So you say 10, down arrow, nom. It is 4 times, let's say quarterly. It's quarterly, so you say 4 per year. Then I've got to touch base with effective. So I say down arrow, effective. And I want the monthly equivalent. Then I say 12 times per year, and then I press down arrow nom. So 9.917 is the equivalent, the monthly equivalent to 10% quarterly. Right? Let's take another example that's clear. Supposing I want an annual interest rate of 10% and I want the half yearly equivalent. So I say 10 down arrow nom, it's annual, so I say once per year. Then I say down arrow effective. You'll notice effective annual and nominal annual compounded once is one and the same. I want the equivalent monthly, so I say 12 times per year, down arrow nom, 9.568. So that is the equivalent monthly interest rate that corresponds to a 10% compounded annually. This conversion, as I said, runs concurrently. At any moment in time, you'll be asked to convert one interest rate to another.